You can see this plaster's dry, it's hard. It's actually, this one's pretty thick.
How do you get plaster off a concrete slab? Well, let's take a look how we do this.
This is coming right off with a little frozen ice. The frozen ice actually uses it as a scrubbing pad too. A little abrasiveness on that ice. You can see the plaster build up here. And we're gonna look at an easy way how to remove all this plaster off this concrete slab here. Any spots that didn't have any of the rosin paper, if there was any openings in the rosin paper or it didn't get taped down good, then you have to pull off all this plaster. So how do you remove these big chunks of plaster? I get this removed off the concrete slab. Solution number one, grab some snow and make a snowball. Take your snowball, find your plaster, and let it sit. Otherwise, you could use water, but this is more fun. Thanks to the help of our good old Minnesota snow. Another thing you can do is on the big thick plaster is just use a regular paint scraper and watch what happens here when we scrape it with the paint scraper. So it's loosened up enough to get the big thick stuff off. And then we'll rub more of the snowball into it. And you can see how that just is coming right off. A little frozen ice. The frozen ice actually uses it as a scrubbing pad too. A little abrasiveness on that ice. So that's coming off really good. Gets that plaster nicely removed. Right down on here and soften some of this plaster.
So if you do have any other methods to take off plaster off these concrete slab floors easier, please comment below.
You can see this plaster's dry, it's hard. It's actually, this one's pretty thick. So again, we're gonna put some water on this. And we're just gonna let this water puddle sit here for maybe closer to 5-10 minutes on this one, and maybe even get the scraper out on that. But if you get that soaking in there, it'll start to release and break down that plaster compound. All moist, get all wet. Let's take a look at our snow here. It's starting to smelt down. Loosen up that a little bit. You got the snow on there. After you get a little snow melt, that plaster just rubs right off and it's dissolving all that plaster. Over here, it's been sitting. It comes right off that concrete slab, pretty nice. Where the plaster is, and then after the water's been sitting there for just 5 minutes, it wipes right off. So you can see this stuff. There's a little bit of abrasiveness here, but as soon as you rub it with your fingers, a little bit of water on there. And again, that frozen ice did work really good getting that plaster off. I got another idea. How about, since we don't have any running water here, to get this off concrete, let's use our frozen pond right here. There we go. We'll just get a slab of ice, some of these, and then we'll put this to get off the plaster. frozen ice sheets, and we're gonna use that. Let that melt up and dissolve some of that plaster. All that plaster is gone. No more plaster in the doorway on our concrete slab on the new home. And I'll use our fingers. See if we can rub it. You gotta be pretty gentle with the metal scraper, but also your fingernails and just a little bit of time in that water pulls that plaster right up from the floor. Now, how long do you think it'll take for all this to melt?
5 to 3 minutes.
5 to 3 minutes.
Oh, to melt. Melts.
10 minutes?
5 to 6 minutes. Well, it's already melting, so probably.
It'll take a while to melt, and then it starts dissolving, and you can see right here, you just move your finger around, and that comes right off the concrete slab. How long do you think the snow and ice has been sitting on here?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
6 to 7 minutes.
We're pulling up all the dust, all the sheetrock dust for the job site, and we're just using this small portable mop and bucket. We don't have any running water out here yet, so we'll have to take a look at our water supply. But we're ready to reseal the floors, get a nice finish on here, wax the floors on the house. But first we gotta pull off all the dust. We're getting into the corners, the bottom of the sheetrock, and we're using this microfiber cloth. If you look at the head of the mop here, each of these microfibers is collecting all the dust so that we have a nice surface for the ceiling on the cement floor. Over here to the kitchen, dining room.